Hello everyone, Jule here. After making my best PC JRPG games list in the past, I thought maybe it's the right time to update the list. Because, we are in the end of 2022 and there are some new games that are actually really good. This list is a bit different though, since it is the JRPG games of all time in all platforms, so it also included lots of classic games that I think still stands as one of the best JRPG ever existed. You might or might not agree with my list, but that's okay, since everyone has their own opinion. Alright then, let's get started.
Here you go, Lonnie!
Star Ocean Till the End of Time is the third main game in the Star Ocean series. The game was developed by Tri-Ace and published by Square Enix for the PlayStation 2 console. You will follow the adventures of a young man named Fate Lenga. Along the way, you will meet up with some memorable characters, visit alien worlds, and dispatch countless foes. While some design choices kinda holding back the overall experience, the end result is still an enjoyable experience, from the soundtrack, character progression, synthesis mechanics, and of course the action combat. Lacrimosa of Dana may be not the best in terms of gameplay, but if we are talking about the overall experience, this game is definitely the best one. From the world atmosphere, character interactions, and of course the phenomenal soundtrack. Despite not being the best in terms of mechanic, still, the gameplay is incredibly fun. Combat set is divided into three categories: strike, slash, and pierce. Each character embodies a single attack affinity, and the player character must be swapped in the midst of combat to defeat some particular enemies. Disgaea V Alliance of Vengeance is the fifth title in the main series. Just like its predecessor, the game is turn-based and takes place on several set and random boards on which you position yourself to beat a strategical decision. The games are absolutely massive, easily offering 100 hours of gameplay. There are many hidden secrets to find, secret areas to conquer, and an obscene amount of treasure and items to collect. HARVESTELLA is an RPG game that includes a hefty amount of life sim elements. If you have played Rune Factory series before, it should be easy for you to understand what this game is about. It has an action RPG combat, with the player being able to choose one of the 12 classes. As for the life simulation elements, you can explore the village and talk to its residents, farming, cooking, crafting, and fishing. The game has all of the needed mechanics for enjoying side quests and farming while driving a compelling storyline with plenty of fun characters along the way. If you like JRPGs and maybe the old days of Harvest Moon, this game is a must-have for you. If you have never played a Souls-like game before, Code Vein might be the right game to start. Well, at least if you like an anime kinda game. The combat is more fast-paced and intense rather than your typical Souls-like game. You can execute cool combos, make a lot of hybrid builds that probably will never be found in another game. The story is not that deep or complicated, but the storytelling is quite enjoyable, especially in the action cutscene department. Just like its predecessor, Persona 3 combines elements of traditional RPG and a bit of simulation games. The game follows the protagonist's character, balancing your daily lives of going to school, building relationships with other people, and fighting evil beings known as shadows. Just like every Persona game, you will enjoy trying to find different combinations of Persona through fusions and unlocking new Persona with its progression system. Some of you might be introduced to the series from the Persona 4 or Persona 5, but let me tell you that this game is actually the one that creates the first hype back in the days. Tales of the Abyss is an extremely well executed JRPG, even in today's standard. The story is well written and the storytelling is perfectly designed to make it interesting the whole game. From all of the Tales series that I've played, Tales of the Abyss is probably the only Tales game that has no boring downtime. The level design is great, and don't forget the fun and exciting interactions between the characters. The battle system is great, even though it's not as great as the newer Tales game, of course, but it's still entertaining nonetheless.
You're mine!
It feels unfair to put the Kingdom Hearts series in this position, because we all know the potential of this game. Each of every Kingdom Hearts game from PS2, even Nintendo, are without a doubt a masterpiece. But sadly, because the game is a full continuation, there is no way we can just recommend one game from the series. And as we all know, Kingdom Hearts 3 is not as good as we would expect it. The game is actually great in terms of gameplay or graphics, but let's be honest, that's not what we're looking for in this series. So I hope Square Enix can make something magical to put Kingdom Hearts back to its throne. Shin Megami Tensei V features returning gameplay elements from the previous Shin Megami Tensei series, such as the ability to fuse demons along with some new mechanics. Combat system is familiar, with quality of life changes that makes it the series' best. Most side quests are good, they weren't feel tedious at all and have some great rewards. But the coolest part is definitely the boss fight. They are a delight to fight, especially the final boss and the game's super boss. For JRPG lovers since the PS1 era, there is no way you never heard of Suikoden 2. The Suikoden series has a characteristic that is not available in other JRPG, and that is the number of playable characters in this game. In Suikoden 2 itself, there are a total of 108 playable characters that we can recruit to join our party. Sure, the graphics might not be as good as the recent games, but the experiences from building your castles, finding new characters, and experimenting your team composition are just something that you rarely find in the modern JRPG. It has a well-written storylines, and don't forget the beautiful soundtrack that keep the game's atmosphere alive. If you love JRPG and tactical RPG at the same time, trust me, you wouldn't want to miss this series. There are 4 games available as of now, and each of them has its own unique story that interconnected with each other, interesting characters, and fresh tactical challenges that probably never existed on the other games. What makes this series so unique is that this game combines turn-based mechanics with some action shooter combat. Don't worry though, you don't have to aim like Shroud or pro FPS player to land a hit. I'm sure most of you must have played this series already, but if somehow you're new to the series and have been wondering, does it worth it? Well, now you already know the answer. Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD Remaster is just what everyone needs to experience this masterpiece in the best way. Final Fantasy X is without a doubt an amazing JRPG with deep and emotional storylines, while Final Fantasy X-2 is a really fun experience for those who want to know more about the true ending in the Final Fantasy X universe. With both titles being bundled together, having a great graphical upgrade and having all of the international content included, I would highly recommend picking this up if you are a fan of JRPGs. Even if you have played these games before, there are plenty of new things to discover in this remaster.
Alright!
Xenogears is a game that was made by Squaresoft, which was released in 1998. Xenogears really presents a narrative experience that is extremely unique. Sensitive issues related to religion, war, love, politics, sacrifice, even cannibalism are discussed in this game. Combining good action, dark drama, a splash of mecha anime, and lots of sci-fi elements, this game is a must-buy for any JRPG fans. I really hope they will remake this game in the future. Before Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, honestly, Final Fantasy XII was the best Final Fantasy game for me. It was such a well-designed game that still looks amazing even today, and with all improvements in the Zodiac Age version, the game even more impressive than ever. Sure, its story is not as heavy and complicated as the others, but in terms of gameplay mechanic, exploration, side quests, and world design, this game easily beat all of them. The things that made this game unique, especially the Gambit system, still feel fresh, and the Zodiac job system and high-speed mode are great improvements that make the game more convenient for everyone. Chrono series is probably the best JRPGs in terms of world atmosphere, especially for Chrono Cross. The soundtrack, the story, and the art design just match perfectly with each other. I bet most of you who have played this game before still and probably will listen to the soundtrack forever. Till this day, I still can't find a game that can match the level of Chrono series world atmosphere. It also has a unique turn-based combat system and there's a lot of playable character in this game. If Square Enix somehow able to remake this game, I'm pretty sure it will easily be my top 5 JRPG of all time. Final Fantasy VII Remake brings more than nostalgia. The game is not just a remake but carefully rearranged. The original Final Fantasy VII offers a strong storyline, so Square Enix has to think hard about repackaging the game with a strong foundation to make it even better. Here, the player will truly experience hack-and-slash RPG action with a hint of strategy. The game was a huge success because it was able to satisfy the loyal fans of the universe and also the newcomers. The Persona series has a gameplay approach which is quite unique from other JRPGs. Just like the Persona 3 or above, Persona 4 also has two different segments, the RPG and the life sim segment. For the RPG, you will see lots of dungeon exploration, turn-based combat, collecting personas, and grinding. As for the life simulation, well, just like any Persona game, you will basically lead a school life and building relationships with other people. The uniqueness of the Persona series is the existence of social mechanisms link, where our daily social interactions can increase the strength of the persona we use. Most importantly, the characters and their unique quirks make for a highly entertaining gameplay experience. The original inspiration for Final Fantasy Tactics gets a new remaster. That alone reconfirms Tactics Ogre as one of the best tactical JRPGs ever made. The story follows Dinam, who together with his sister and childhood buddy decides to take up the fight and strive for a better future. There are impactful choices to be made. There are several branches to the story and in fact, you can steer the kingdom in different directions based on your actions. You will spend the bulk of your time with combat decisions though, equipping your team and making decisions on the battlefield. And that's where you can see how Tactics Ogre influenced today's games with its class-based system. Nier Automata starts off promisingly enough as a first-rate action game in the vein of Devil May Cry or Metal Gear Rising. The main story follows a narrative that becomes fully realized over 3 full playthroughs of the main game. You play as one of the 3 different characters on each playthrough, with unique abilities and combat mechanics during the story. Nier Automata is an action JRPG that you must play, especially for those of you who really like the characteristics of Japanese anime or manga stories.
We can do it! Looks like it's no problem.
As one of the Xenogears fans back in the days, there is no way that I will not recommend the Xenoblade series. Why? Well, it was made by the same developer. I mean not Squaresoft in general, but the specific team that was responsible for the development of Xenogears, that today has been doing a pretty good job as a new company named Monolith Soft. If you're familiar with all the Xeno games, you will see almost the same pattern in this game. A slow build-up story, but then starts spicing really hard. It also features a lot of sci-fi elements and most importantly, talking about gods. That's right. Xeno games always love to talk about this. And don't forget the beautiful open world that's full of side quests, secret areas, and many more. If you have already experienced the original Final Fantasy Tactics, you will enjoy some nifty additions in this enhanced port, including terrific cutscenes, new character classes, and new playable characters. The gameplay itself still remains one of the best turn-based strategy one can find anywhere without exception. Not only that, Square Enix also added beautifully animated cutscenes complete with fantastic voice acting. This helped convey a tale that is complex, dark, and strikingly human in nature. Fire Emblem Three Houses is yet another tactical JRPG masterpiece that was developed for the Nintendo exclusive. The combat in this game is simple yet hard to master, which makes the game enjoyable by anyone, whether you are a newcomer or tactical RPG veterans. This game is called Three Houses for a reason. At the outset, you have to choose between one of the three houses. Not only each house has a different storyline, it also has a different strength and students. And since a big part of what you do as a professor is help guide and shape your students as they level up, you can alter any of these houses to fit your own playstyle. Persona 5 Royal is a JRPG masterpiece. Not only it improved the original game, it also added new characters, story elements, and amazing soundtrack. With Persona 5 Royal's PC debut, Atlas combines all that with even more goodies, including a new challenge mode and additional personas. The key gameplay element is the social link system, which tracks the depth of your relationships with various supporting characters. Not only these social links give you a key insight into the motivations and histories of each character, but they offer up passive abilities to help in the metaverse and affect how quickly your personas can level up. A deep and moving story, stylish presentation, amazing soundtrack, and decision-driven gameplay all combine to make an amazing experience that proves itself to be every bit deserving of the hype and praise it's already received. The original version of Dragon Quest XI was already a near-perfect JRPG, but this definitive version adds just enough to make it the objectively better option between the two. It's kinda crazy that this game is able to offer such a fresh and fun experience while keeping its identity in presenting classic formulas such as turn-based combat, silent protagonist, grinding character, etc. I'm gonna be honest, this game is the perfect starting point for those who are new to the series. Many quality of life changes help streamline the experience for players. Additional content and costumes create more flavor to the story, and the addition of the orchestral soundtrack bolsters the experience even further. Well, first thing first, for me, JRPG has always been about the story. And let me tell you that the Legend of Heroes Trail series is just in another level in terms of storytelling, plot design, world building, and lore. When most Western RPGs decided to make a world filled with deep story and massive world building, they always make the storytelling complicated and confusing at times, which for some just breaks the immersion. The Trail series, however, managed to make the story very easy to digest. It's almost like you're watching an anime or play a visual novel. What makes it more amazing, despite the gameplay is simple and easy to master, it doesn't feel cheap, especially in the newer game. Some encounters, especially the main bosses, really offers a good amount of challenge and tactical depth. But Joel, why I have to play the series? Can I just play one game? Well, it is impossible to only recommend one game in the series, because the story is all a full continuation. You miss one game, then you will miss a lot of context. But just enjoy it like you're watching an anime, and trust me, you'll be there in no time.
Alright. There! They're open!
Alright boys, I think that's it for today. I know that there are still other great JRPGs that I haven't mentioned yet, so how about sharing your best JRPG games that probably deserve the spot in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss another great list. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Peace!
Yeah.